Mr. Heavyweight Boxing Today.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mr. Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So the hot topic right now, all over boxing scene, seen on YouTube, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder going back and forth on social media, been pretty damn entertaining as far as just watching, two fighters go back and forth. But before, I get into this, let me just read a couple things to you guys. So just bear with me. And I just want to read what these guys, Wilder, Whyte, and Eddie Hearn, all had, and even Lou DiBella, all had to say, okay? So before I get to my opinion and what I think should be done, let me just pull everything up real quick. I got all the articles pulled up. All right, so from Boxing Scene, when did they put this out? Today. They put this out today. The title is Deontay Wilder Erupts, Tears Apart Hearn, Whyte Over Offer, okay? And this message was actually on Deontay Wilder's Instagram account. It was under the video he made about Dillian Whyte. It was a video, it had a picture of Dillian Whyte being knocked out by Anthony Joshua, okay? But this is what he had to say, and it's on Boxing Scene too. And all these articles I'll leave in the description box for you guys. And even the interview from Eddie Hearn that I listened to, but I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so this is what Wilder had to say. This is in response to Dillian Whyte, Eddie Hearn offering him $3 million to fight in the UK, and they were saying they wanted to fight September, October, somewhere in there, all right? This is what he had to say about that offer, Wilder. He says, Eddie Hearn, bro, let's not play around here. We both know who I want from England. You told me a while back at the WBC convention that your main man was next, remember? So why have you been trying to throw your cockroaches in with me? First it was Bellew, now it's your dirty cunt Dillian Whyte. Man, come on. I tell you what, make that offer of $3 million into $7 million in our terms, or it's going to cost you to change my plans of what we want to do up, and no, it's not on your terms. How you go come with the offer of $3 million and want things on your terms too? The last time I checked, I was the damn champ, Wilder stated. All right, he also goes on to say, when I beat that horse shit out of your stray doggy, I'm again not going to gain any credit for anything from anybody for beating his ass whatsoever. After this beatdown from T-Town, they will call him a bum, so let's face it, the world knows this. Fans really just want to see me back in the ring. That's why they entertaining this bullshit. Dillian Whyte is a crush dummy at best. I think he meant to say crash dummy. He's designed to, well, fucking crash. All right. Then he also, let me finish up here. He says, every fighter wants to fight for titles over and over again. Shit, some guys never see a first time, Luis Ortiz. And y'all want another shot with $3 million and terms too? Get the fuck out of here. Hey, I would love to fuck him up as bad as bloody as I will do and take that money too easy. So sleep on them nuts and come back with an open mind and a new heart, because the champ don't like this fuckery. All right. That's what Wilder had to say. Okay. Now let me read real quick what Eddie Hearn, and this was put up on Sky Sports. Let me see. When was this article put up? Today. All right. Let me read what this says here. The title is Hearn Awaits Wilder Whyte News. Okay. Let me go ahead. This is what Eddie Hearn, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is what Eddie Hearn had to say. He says, I made several offers to Al Heyman's team, and we are awaiting a final answer. But I think Deontay made things clear on his Instagram, Hearn told Sky Sports. It's a great offer and a great career move, a chance to earn plenty of money, but also be involved in a real fight. And if he is good enough to win, then it sets up a massive fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. What I'm seeing from these camps is a reluctance to face Dillian. They know he is a handful, and he is more than likely you are going to have a roll around at the press conference as well. Let's hope we can all be sensible and give the fans what they want. Real heavyweight matchups, okay? Promoter Lou DiBella, who works closely with Wilder, pointed out that the Bronze Bomber still has to fulfill a mandatory title defense against Bermane Stiverne. This is what DeBella said to Sky Sports. His immediate priority is to get the biggest fight he can get. But the Bermane Stiverne fight is reality. We have to deal with that. Or is it a reality we have to deal with? Then he says he is still technically the WBC mandatory, and we are the WBC champion. Okay. When asked about Wilder's future plans, DeBella added, I think Deontay is ready to return shortly. He would like to get into the ring. At this point, this is now the middle of June, probably September, October. I think he would like to return as soon as opponent's situation and who he is fighting is determined, and the network date has been settled. Okay. Now, also, I listened to and I'll leave both of those articles in the description box, and I also listened to an interview that IFL TV did with Eddie Hearn a few days ago. Shouts out to IFL TV. I didn't get a chance to do a video on it, but in that video, according to Eddie Hearn, he says he spoke with Mauricio Sulaiman, and Sulaiman said if everybody can be in agreement, which is King and Stiverne, Wilder and his people, and then then obviously Whyte and Hearn, that they can make this fight with Dillian Whyte. Okay, so that was according to him. He said he spoke with Sulaiman. That's what Sulaiman told him. All right. Now, my opinion on all this. Deontay Wilder has made it known on Fight Hype interviews, Instagram, wherever he can be heard. He's made it known that he is not interested. I've done videos on it too. He's not interested in fighting Bermane Stiverne, whether Stiverne is the mandatory or not. Shouts out to Baylor Rick TV, because he also did a current interview with Stiverne about 3 days ago. You guys check the video out. It's on Baylor Rick TV's channel. Stiverne is still saying, and I was actually, he did an interview with Stiverne. It was a live, like a Google Hangout, and I was in the chat section as he was conducting the interview with Stiverne. I asked him if he can ask Stiverne, so are you and Wilder fighting in September? And then shit. And by me listening to Stiverne, he doesn't seem to care two damns about how much money Eddie Hearn is offering Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte. That is something to me. I know what Eddie Hearn said, that what Sulaiman told him, if everybody's happy with the deal. I'm just not sure Stiverne and Don King are going to want to step aside. Unless, money talks sometimes. But listening to Stiverne, man, he doesn't really seem too much moved by it, so... Now, Wilder said that, well, if you give me $7 million, then we'll try to make something happy. Maybe, just maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing it out there, man, for conversation. Maybe Wilder bumped up the offer, saying he wants $7 million. Maybe he knows if they were to get a fight with Dillian Whyte, he would have to give Stiverne some crazy step-aside money. That's just a guess, all right? That's not set in stone. That's just me guessing why Wilder bumped it up to $7 million. Wilder being a title holder, I can understand. Doesn't mean I agree with him, but I understand his position. Like, hey, how the hell are you going to try to dictate terms to me? I understand that. Whenever you have a title, in most cases, all right, because sometimes there are other fighters that are like, Floyd Mayweather, for example, although Dillian Whyte is not Floyd Mayweather, but you can have a title or not. The other guy's going to be, as we say, the A side, or is going to dictate the terms. So maybe Wilder's looking at it like, man, who the hell is Dillian Whyte to try to, and Eddie Hearn to dictate terms to me? All right, maybe that's how he's looking at it. I'm not sure. All right, but now here's what I think though. It's just hard because Stiverne and Don King, man. I just don't see them stepping aside. But let's just say they were in agreement to step aside. All right, I would like this fight. Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder in the UK. It'll be a career high payday. That's what they're reporting. I think he offered them $3 million or $3.5 million, something like that. You get over to the UK. Now, some people may say, hey, man, if he beats Dillian Whyte, nobody's going to give him credit. They're going to say he beat Anthony Joshua leftover. My thing is, with Deontay Wilder, is I can see fans doing that, but that's just fans. But one thing we can say is going into the fight, there's going to be a lot of UK fans that's going to pick Dillian Whyte. If the fight were to be in the UK, they're going to be cheering for Dillian Whyte. So at least going into the fight, they'll all be against Wilder and say he's going to lose. Now, what they say afterwards, shit, that's just afterwards. For me as a fan, that's just afterwards. I don't care what you say afterwards. But going into the fight, if you think the guy's going to get beat or get his head taken off or it's going to get exposed and all that, well, we'll see when the fight happens. I think it'd be a good move if Stavern doesn't take place. Now, my priorities being that I want undisputed champion, right? That's what I want is undisputed. Dillian Whyte says he's going to be on the August 19th Crawford versus, they're saying trying to get him on the August 19th card in Omaha, Crawford and Dongu, to raise his profile over here in the States. That's what Eddie Hearn said. And then October, the same date that Wilder said he wants to be back in the ring, ideally, they will want to fight Wilder in the UK. Now, being that I want undisputed, I would love to see Wilder, if it was up to me, take on Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, right? I'm trying to look at this realistically as I possibly can. Eddie Hearn has made it clear Anthony Joshua's next opponent will be Klitschko rematch or Pulev. He wants to fulfill that mandatory obligation with the IBF. I know he still has that WBA. So if Wilder, obviously he's not going to be able to get AJ. He's not going to get AJ this year. It's just not going to happen. Parker. Hughie Fury has a fight coming up next month, a tune-up fight that he's going to take. Parker and Hughie Fury are set to fight in September. That's pretty much going to happen. I wish, Fury didn't pull out the first fight. The fight could have been over with. Parker would have been able, if he won the fight, would be able to move on. All right, so it looks like that's just what's going to happen, Parker versus Fury. Now, what I will say is this. Parker and his team, when they first won that WBO strap, I've done videos about it. The articles are out there on Google. All you guys got to do is type them up in this Google search and they'll pop up. Dave Higgins has came out and said before, Duco events, that they want Deontay Wilder unification. They said this 3 days after he beat Andy Ruiz Jr. A month later in January, there were more articles coming out. Parker even went to the Wilder versus Washington fight, be it he was there to support Israel Ogono, who was fighting Dominic Brazil on the undercard. Ogono and Parker in the same camp. They're both trained by Kevin Barry. But he was still there in attendance to watch the fight. He even went to the back in the locker rooms, took pictures with Deontay Wilder. They were even talking about unification, all right? Last I heard, Higgins was talking about they're going to see if the WBO will give them an exception to try to fight Wilder. All this was like January, late December when they were saying all this. All right, so either the WBO said no, or Parker and his team aren't really looking to fight Wilder right now. Those are only two things I can think of, man. And if you guys remember that article that I read when Wilder had his little situation, was like last week when I was reading that article. In the article, this was his hometown newspaper. They were saying that Wilder is currently looking to close a fight with Parker in that article. So but Parker does have a mandatory. It's not like he's trying to fight some voluntary dude. He's doing his mandatory thing. So that's the fight I want, man, is Parker versus Wilder. All right. So since those fights are off the table, you can't get AJ, you can't get Parker. Parker has his mandatory Hughie Fury September. Hopefully, if Fury doesn't get cut or get an injury in his fight next month, that fight will take place in September. The next on the list for me, priority, would be Luis Ortiz. I know he isn't Deontay Wilder's mandatory, but Luis Ortiz is rated number 3 by the WBC. That would be a fight I will want more than watching Dillian Whyte. Stay with me, you guys. Let me just explain all this, okay? I'm just going down what the fights I would like. Because I don't want people to say, oh, you don't want to see Wilder fight this guy. No, I want to see Wilder fight AJ, Parker, Ortiz. If somehow, some way, Joshua, if Klitschko say, hey, I don't want the rematch with you, go ahead and fight Pulev. If Klitschko were to help somehow stick around, if you guys look at those WBC rankings, Vladimir Klitschko is rated number 2. If he was to fight Wilder, I would love that fight before a Dillian Whyte fight, okay? Now, if all that can't happen, you're getting no AJ, no Parker, or Klitschko or Ortiz, the next wave of guys, I wouldn't mind him fighting, especially if he's getting his career high payday. You know, $3 million or whatever they're offering him, would be the pool of guys like Dillian Whyte, Bryant Jennings, Dominic Brazil, those pool of fighters. Now, to me, in my opinion, all those guys are somewhat same level. The Andy Ruiz Jr.'s and Carlos Takams and Brazils. You can rate them, you know, higher than other guys. But to me, they're same type of level of guys, right? So when you're looking at those guys, you want somebody formidable. Dillian Whyte is formidable. One of the things, in my opinion, that makes him formidable, if you look at the WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF rankings, he is in the top 12 of all those sanctioned bodies. Number 5 by the WBC, number 8 by the WBO, number 12 by the WBA, number 6 by the IBF. He's only lost one fight. That was Anthony Joshua. He does have a win over Derek Chisora, a fight of the year quality type of fight. He can sell a fight. You're going to get your career high payday. The venue in which you guys are going to fight will be jam-packed. The atmosphere will be crazy. You will be able to go over to the UK where a lot of fans think that's where it's popping at. It is hot out there in the UK. It's hotter than fish grease out there right now. So you've been out there for the Tony Bellew, or not for Tony Bellew, but you went out there for Klitschko Anthony Joshua fight. You were out there on the announce crew. And then you had a little spat with Tony Bellew. So your name is buzzing out there. And Wilder's fought there. He's fought in the UK before. Oh, I forgot who he fought, man. Damn, I forgot who he fought. Was it Ollie Harrison? Was it Harrison? He fought in the UK before. Nothing that's going to be as big as if he were to fight Dillian Whyte. So it's one of them things where it's like, I wouldn't mind this fight. You know, kind of a meantime, in between time type of thing, where all those other guys are booked, right? The AJs, the Parkers, Klitschko. Not to say that Ortiz will turn down. I don't think Ortiz will turn down a fight with Wilder, but you want the AJ fight. That's the fight that you want. Big money there. Ortiz will probably make more money being in a mandatory position, fighting for the WBA, being that he is the mandatory, versus fighting Deontay Wilder and he'll be a voluntary defense. Because right now he will be considered, although he is rated very high, he will get, he won't be a mandatory. He won't get that type of pay cut being the mandatory, being that they have Stavern there. So all in all, man, if Wilder can't get the unification fights that he's been, saying that he wants for a while now, money-wise, venue-wise, opponent, I think it all makes sense to take the Dillian Whyte fight. Because I don't see the AJs, I just don't see those happening by September, October. I definitely don't see it happening by then. So why not just go over there, knock him out, beat him, I'm sure Wilder believes he can knock out Dillian Whyte. I'm sure Dillian Whyte thinks he can beat Deontay Wilder. But I think it makes sense from that aspect for him to go out there and just take the fight. Again, I'm not sure how Stavern and Don King's going to feel about all this. I'm just not sure, man. You guys check out that Baylor Rick TV interview that he did a few days ago. And Stavern really doesn't seem to care about any money that's being offered right now to Deontay Wilder. All right, but if somehow, some way they can get Stavern to step aside, I wouldn't mind seeing the Dillian Whyte fight. The money's there. Like I said, I know I keep repeating myself, man, but the money's there. The guy can sell a fight. He's only lost to Anthony Joshua. He's credible by all the sanctioning bodies. He's rated, like I said, he's in their top 12 of all of them. Well, besides the WBA, he's number 12, but the other 3, he's in the top 8 of those other 3. You know, and a career high payday too. I mean, I think it makes sense, man. But again, it all comes down to what Stiverne and Don King are willing to do. That's my opinion on all this, man. I guess we'll have to really, man, we just have to sit back and just see how this all pans out, man. And I remember Stiverne saying, this was a few months ago when Baylor Rick did another interview with him, and he was talking about that, this was a few months ago, and he was saying that he wants to fight Wilder by July. That'd be ideal. And then by the latest, September. That's what he said a few months ago. So now it's the middle of June, or shit, going towards the end of June now. I guess we'll see how this all unfolds and plays out. But I think Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder makes a lot of sense, especially if Wilder's not going to be able to get the unification fights. And mind you, Hearn and those guys want this fight September, October. I don't see Wilder being able to get any type of Anthony Joshua fight based on what Hearn said Joshua's schedule will be if he keeps winning. And I don't see him getting Parker, being that Parker and his team are focusing on Hughie Fury mandatory. Unless something comes up with Hughie Fury, he gets injured next month or some freak, type of injury or cut. Knock on wood, because I don't wish for fighters to get injured. Although that's a fight I'm not clamoring for, Hughie Fury versus Parker. I'm sure a lot of UK fans are, but I'd rather see Parker versus Wilder. But if none of that shit can happen, Deontay can go get that check. I'm sure you think you can win the fight, go over there in the UK. And over there, a lot of those fans, if you beat White, they will be talking about you fighting Anthony Joshua even more. I know some fans say that, they like at least fans that come to my comment section, and I see it all over comment section, just all over just the internet. A lot of UK fans, not all, but a lot of UK fans, who the hell is Wilder? We don't know him, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, you pack out the O2 and you knock out Dillian Whyte, they won't, they can't say we don't know who you are. Even if they're being a little sarcastic when they are saying it. Go out there and beat one of their guys, I'm kind of repeating myself here, man, but you guys let me think in the comment section about all this, man. I'm out.